I wake up in a strange room. I mean, in moments I'll realize it's not, but I guess it still kind of is. Solid morning light shimmers against the light gray ceiling. I'd forgotten to draw the curtains closed last night. This is my room, isn't it? My room. This is the third room this year that I'm supposed to call mine. Various things around here remind me that, indeed, it's me who is supposed to be the one living here. My bag's on the floor, my new school books on the desk, my numerous medications on the night table. I stare at the bottles for a moment, deliberating, until I open a bottle, shake out a pill, and pop out a tablet from a foil sheet. I down them with a chaser of water without thinking about the chemistry. Probably not incredibly advised, but it's what we're going for anyway. My uniforms are in the closet. I slink out from under the sheets and stretch my back before dressing up. Putting on a new school uniform feels like dressing in someone else's clothes. Luckily, I've never had to do that. The artificial smell of generic detergent invades my nose, but the feeling of fresh cloth against my back is a good one. A natural one. You can always try to get your own kind, I imagine. You know, I imagine you do your own laundry, so that could help. Feels like a school uniform, as it should. It's not much different from what I used to wear before. That goes for other ththings, too. So far, this place seems more or less like a normal school. Except for the people. I think back to my talk with Kenji yesterday, Misha's constant laughter, and Shizun's sweeping sign language gestures. Yeah, I don't entirely understand. Does Misha have, like, a laughing thing? Was that meant to be an unnatural amount of laughter? Because I think I've heard of conditions that have involuntary and inappropriate laughing fits. I suppose that's feasible? Well, I've only met 3 students so far. Maybe they aren't that normal, but I'm sure others are. Or perhaps people like them are what passes for normal around here. What does pass for normal around here? What do people do? I didn't see a lot of kids hanging around after classes yesterday, so maybe there are clubs? If so, I wonder if I should join one. Would probably help to fill out the time in your day. All through class, the question remains on my mind, so I decided to ask Shizun about it when we split into groups. After all, she did say if I had anything I wanted to know, I should ask her. Hey, yo! She crossed her arms and shifted her gaze slowly to Misha, who looks more preoccupied with trying to grind the eraser of her pencil down so that the top is perfectly and evenly flat. Or maybe it's intensive OCD? I guess it's kind of rude to speculate about why somebody would be in a school like this. I should probably mind my own dang business. Sorry, Hichan. Is there something you wanted from me? Oh, I see. That's a good question, Hichan. My thought is that means she doesn't know, which is worrying. Maybe I'm being too negative. Well, anyway, Misha, please don't prove me right. Oh, that's right. Everyone is encouraged to join a club. A lot of people do so because there isn't really anything else to do. There are also school events like the festival coming up in a few days. Almost every student in the school tends to help out with it, doing whatever. So, you actually transferred in at a busy time. Maybe you can help out too. Sure. What's the festival about? Fish, oddly enough. Misha freezes. I don't know, Hichan. That's the truth. The truth is, it's a local event, and I'm not from this area, so... She starts signing desperately to Shizun, asking her to bail her out. She then adjusts her glasses at the end of the oddly grandiose flourish and starts signing hard and heavy. Huh? Oh. Who cares? Misha puffs out her chest as she shouts Shizun's words out at me with a disproportionate amount of pride. Too loud. I can see heads turning to look in our direction. Not so loud. Human beings evolve with each new generation. The ideals and beliefs behind a festival will inevitably change with time. Now it's about delicious fried food and amusing little games that you play to win prizes. Ha 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 ha. The teacher clears his throat very loudly, batting his long wooden pointer against his other palm like a baton. He shoots a pointed gaze at us. Finally noticing where we are, Misha stifles a yelp and quickly quiets down. Shizun doesn't seem embarrassed at all, though, brushing it off without a care. Methinks this gal is perhaps used to it. We are in the middle of class and should start working. That's right, Shichan. What? That's right, Hichan. Are you asking because you're interested in joining a club? Oh, I didn't notice the face change over there. Hello. Could have been my eyes playing tricks on me, but I think I saw a suspicious glance exchange between them. Misha's tone has also changed, although it does that every other word anyway. Yeah, I was thinking about it. Misha and Shizun look at each other again. I'm about to ask what they have in mind when something dark flutters in my peripheral vision, catching my attention. Out of the corner of my eye, I see the girl with long dark hair get up from her desk and slip silently towards the door. Didn't seem like she was working in any group, and no one seems to notice her but me. I glance at the teacher, who's also looking at the dark-haired girl go. Why doesn't he say anything? Hichan, is something wrong? Do I look as uneasy as I feel? Or was Misha just looking at me looking after that girl who left? No, nothing. Okay, well, like we were asking, you don't have any plans for lunch today, do you? I thought I'd go to the library and pick up some books. Not really. Do you want to have lunch together then? Sure. I mean, why would you say no to an opportunity like that? Yay! Okay, Hichan, perfect! The rest of the class passes uneventfully. The girl with the long hair never came back. Perhaps she was a phantom. Before I have the time to put any more thought into where she could have gone, the teacher informs us that it's time to stop working. She looks more than a little annoyed that we only just barely managed to finish all of our work on time. I'm just glad we finished it at all. It's not a contest or anything. Yes, it is, Hichan. Impossible! Really? Really? I've noticed this before, but it's kind of funny how Misha is always moving her hands and signing not only everything she says, but what anyone else is saying at any given time. That's actually pretty neat. Obviously, it must be so Shizune can understand it. Her eyes dart back and forth between Misha's hands and me. I don't know who I'm supposed to be looking at. I'm talking to Misha, but that might be wrong. Maybe I should face Shizune? I'm used to looking in the direction of the person whose voice I'm hearing, but really, Shizune can't hear me, but it would be disrespectful to talk to her only through Misha. Then again, isn't that what she's doing? No, she's at least looking at me. This is all very confusing and will take some time to get used to. I imagine so. I don't know the etiquette here. It's not a contest because contests are competitions over a prize. If there's no prize on the line, it's not really a contest. Shizune's eyes flash dangerously with a competitive glare. She stares at me as if surprised that I'm challenging her. I think maybe this is a contest to her. I never noticed before how dark and blue her eyes are. It's truly an alluring gaze. All right, well, I'm gonna go out and say that Shizune's probably a candidate here. Are you sure, Hichan? Very sure. You're wrong, Hichan, because I don't want to be the slowest one in the class. Therefore, what's on the line is my confidence in my abilities, and the prize is the satisfaction of proving them. Wahahaha! Shizune pushes her glasses up the bridge of her nose in a very matter-of-fact way. I'd argue more, but really I'm just talking loudly over the sound effects so I don't have to listen to them again. But the bell rings and she quickly gets up and picks up her bag looking at me expectantly. I'd almost forgotten that I was supposed to have lunch with them. As they have a pincher maneuver. Where do you want to eat? The cafeteria? That's so plain. Okay, let's go. Plain? Well, I guess. It's not like I'm aware of the options. In my old school, I liked to eat outside near the back of the building. It was a good spot, but I didn't find it until near the end of my freshman year. I wonder if there's a similar place to eat here. Misha seems to imply as much. Shizune and Misha pulled me towards the cafeteria, which is surprisingly not packed. Maybe some students' favorite eating in classroom or outdoors. I saw some of my classmates had boxed lunches. After we finish eating, Misha picks up where we left off earlier. So, Hichan, you wanted to know about clubs and stuff, right? Right, Shichan! Okay, I guess it makes sense to ask first. Exchanging little nods of confirmation, they turn to face me again, and Misha straightens her posture as if she's about to deliver a speech. Hichan, do you have anything you're really interested in? I used to play soccer, but I'm not really into it. I don't follow the teams and players or anything like that. As of late, I usually just read a lot. There's a book club, right, Hichan? Right, but it seems like they have all the members they could possibly have right now. Sorry, Hichan, it's a really popular club. This school has many nerds. Ah, okay, but more to the point, Hichan. Does this mean that you don't have anything already in mind? Not really. She seems incredibly happy about this fact. Good, great, that's great, Hichan, really great. Why is it so great, and why all of the laughs? No reason. Well, Hichan, other than clubs and the upcoming festival, there is one other thing. Student council! I see. I didn't know the school had a student council. That's a very melodramatic setup, though, just to tell me that. I'm pretty sure the two of them know this, because Shizune looks a little embarrassed about it, and Misha is laughing. Shizune quickly retakes control of the discussion in a manner of speaking. After all, it's still Misha who has to voice whatever she says. Right. Hichan, maybe you should join the student council. They could use more people. Yes, definitely. You should definitely join. Why do I get the overwhelming impression that the student council quite literally includes just you two? Why? Well, for one, we can hang out every day, Hichan. Shichan and I are both in the student council. Actually, Shichan is the president. Starting to get the suspicion that Shizune and Misha might not exactly be the most unbiased people to talk about this with. Just a little. As if reading my mind, Shizune quickly adjusts her glasses and signs something to Misha. Of course, we're not trying to get you to join just because we would obviously benefit from you joining the student council and therefore have an incentive to try and get you to. So you're admitting that... No, we admit nothing. I mean, Hichan, of course it would be nice if you joined, and we appreciate it. But even without all that, joining the student council shows a healthy interest in the workings of one's school. Probably doesn't help, and maybe I should keep it to myself that I don't have much of an interest in that. Yep, it's true, Hichan. Besides, don't you want to spend time with us after school, Hichan? I can't tell if she's being genuine or if this is just really good acting. Both of them seem to be trying their hardest to look cute, the cutest, although they are already pretty cute to begin with. They are anime girls. It's kind of their thing. Well... So, it's settled then. Welcome to the student council, Hichan. What? No, no! See, Hichan, of course it wouldn't go so easily. Yep, that's right. Though it would be boring if it went that smoothly. Oh well, Shichan owns to be candy now. You were betting on it? Hey, my life is not a game here. Womp 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 womp. Shizune seems very intrigued by this when Misha signs it to her. The aggressive glint returns to her eyes. Please don't treat my life as if it were a game. That's interesting, Hichan. Let's play a game. That's not what I said. How about rich man, poor man, Hichan? If you lose, you have to join the student council. No, absolutely not. Oh, why not? Well, because you two both have the same incentive and therefore the same goal, which is to get me to join the student council, right? Yep. Yeah, that isn't my goal, but what this means is that both of you can team up and I'll be at a clear disadvantage, so I'm gonna have to decline. Outplayed! Hichan, I'm very offended. Are you saying that you don't trust us and that we would pull something so disingenuous? That makes me sad. Wow, she had trouble with a word that I did know. It's a nice feeling. Sorry? It's hard to tell where Shizune's influence ends and Misha's thoughts begin. I was going to say that, but you know, again, I'm not trying to be a rude dude. In order to atone for hurting a young girl's feelings, you should definitely join the student council. No! How about a game of paper football instead of rich man, poor man? Paper football? Yeah, it's a game to play in America. You make a paper triangle, and then you try to shoot it past goalposts that the other players make with their fingers. Isn't it cool? It's the ultimate form of competition between two people, Hichan. I feel as if that is an over-exaggeration. And it's also played by elementary and middle school children, Hichan. That means it's a game that really separates the boys from the men. More like the boys from the slightly older boys. Anyway, I'm not gonna play that either. Just the fact that you know about it means you're probably surprisingly good at it. Yeah, that's true. How did you know, Hichan? They're adamant and they are tenacious. However, I shall stay strong. Shizune frowns at Misha, telling me that she probably wasn't supposed to admit that so readily. I wouldn't say that I'm happy with their attempts to get me into the student council, but I am a little curious about what the student council does here. Never been on one before, or even know anybody who was a member, so it interests me. I also kind of like Shizune and Misha, so maybe it wouldn't be so bad. Okay, Hichan, how about Risk, the game of world domination? I don't know what that is. It's really fun, Hichan. You fight for control of the world with armies and everything. Sounds like Shizune would be good at it. If you want to play, we can after school. Ah, really, Shichan? We can play just for fun, Hichan. Shichan hasn't played in a long time, so if you want to, there are no strings attached. You're gonna have to forgive me. Having to constantly bounce between Hichan and Shichan is not exactly the easiest for me. Well, okay. Okay, perfect. We'll see you after school in the student council room then, Hichan. Wait, why there? Because that's where we keep the game. I grimace to tell them how much I do not like this, but it's more for show than anything. So in the end, I agree, but only after getting Shizune to acknowledge that I don't mean anything concrete just by accepting to take a look at around and play a game with her. Lunch ends and we go back to class. Constantly lurking in the background! During afternoon classes, the long-haired girl comes back and sits down in her seat without a word. Again, no one seems to notice, or if they do, no one says anything. I want to ask about Misha about it, but I don't want to be nosy. My curiosity is piqued to the nth degree, but at the same time, I don't want to be a jerk. The ultimate in conflicts. After school, Shizune and Misha quickly find me by the first floor lobby and latch onto me, covering each flank in case I might try to escape. I feel a little offended, but I'd been considering it. Nonetheless, I'm a bit disturbed that enough people made a break for it in the past that they're on their guard. Methinks they've got some aggressive tactics. What's with the escort? This doesn't make me feel very comfortable. In fact, it makes me feel like a dangerous prisoner being transported to a cell. What's wrong, Hichan? That's right, we're just gonna play a game of Risk, remember? I don't know, Misha. This all seems a little sinister to me. I start thinking that when we sit down to play the game, they'll tie me down and torture me until I agree to join the student council. Well, that's highly unlikely, but still. For some reason, it just seems like it would be so plausible. We don't know everything about these two. Getting to the student council room is as simple as turning 2 corners from where we started. What, that's it? This makes you guys being so on top of me seem a little silly. That's not true, Hichan. Shichan says that when their life is threatened, people have shown the capability to pull off superhuman bursts of speed. So you're implying that you're threatening my life. Life is threatened? Her expression unchanging, Misha signs something amusedly to Shizune, but makes a baffling face and puts her hand behind her back, looking pleased with herself. Misha feigns deafness and hums cheerily. Stop that. I know you heard me. You have no excuse, unlike Shizune. Shizune opens the door to the student council room. It's a very plain, sparsely decorated room. There we go. I knew that one. Although it is quite large. Maybe even a little larger than a classroom. There's a big table in the center surrounded by chairs and a smaller desk prominently placed in the back that I assume is Shizune's. There are a few regular desks and chairs stacked to one side as well. Extras, perhaps? Aside from the tables and chairs, the room doesn't have much else to offer. Just a couple of filing cabinets and bookshelves stacked with old-school records and documents. Not much else. In fact, nothing else. This is a pretty bleak room. I could at least put a potted plant in here or something. But the most noticeable thing, this room doesn't have is other people. Are we early? And thus, no! What do you mean, no? Does it mean nobody else is coming today? Yeah, that's right. Before I manage to ask why that's the case, Shizune claps her hands together very energetically. Hey, Chun, let's play a Risk. Come on, you promised, didn't you? You have to. Okay. Do you want to know the rules? We can explain to you while we set everything up. Risk is complicated. While Misha is talking, Shizune takes out what looks like a board game from behind one of the filing cabinets and throws it on the table. Actually, this looks kind of interesting. It's a fun game. It's just complicated, and you're probably not going to do very good on your first 4 attempts. After Misha spends a little too long for her liking, running through the basics with a somewhat vague and confusing tutorial, Shizune cuts in and declares the game has started with a decisive motion, slicing her arm through the air with authority. Shizune's aggressiveness is rubbing off onto me. I start feeling more competitive than I intended to be when I agreed to this. Many hours later, halfway into the game, while I try to ponder how to defend against Shizune's assault from 2 fronts, she breaks my concentration by drumming her fingers on the table to get my attention. Shichan wants you to know that you are taking too long to make a move. Shichan also says that she will let you keep Australia if you agree to join the student council. I thought this was a game with no strings attached. Just the fact that she would dangle it over my head as an offer means that she knows I care about the outcome of this game. And anyway, no. Shichan admires your fighting spirit and would be a benevolent dictator who will spare your people if you agree to join the student council. You're so competitive, Shizune. She seems to take this as a compliment. I would expect the student council president to be a little more magnanimous. She doesn't seem to know what the word means or how it's signed, so she pulls out a piece of paper and writes it for Shizune, who in return signs it back to Misha. Misha presses her index finger against her temples as if trying to physically imprint the word into her memory. Suddenly, Shizune bursts into a flurry of gestures. Misha looks daunted by the pace of her heated signing. Wait, please, slow down, Shichan. Shichan says you're going to lose. Tell her I'll crush her whole world empire with my rebellion. Okay. Those eyes of hers shine with childlike mischief. She says you have no chance if you keep playing like this. No, you won't. It's a trap. It's smarter to play defensively here. She has a point. Attack aggressively. I am not going to be able to do this accurately. Let's say... I don't know. So far, everything they've done has been pretty heavy-handed. Either they're trying to lure me into assuming that they're continuing that strategy, or it really is a trap. It's likely that she's just trying to psych me out. Looking at the board again, I have a pretty good defense set up, and I'm not going to wreck it doing something reckless. A few turns later, I lose the game anyway. Shijun adjusts her glasses victoriously and allows herself to tentatively pump a fist in the air in celebration. Wahaha! Hee-chan, you lost when you allowed me to take North America. I mean, Chi-chan, not me. Getting control of North America is ambitious because it provides a 5 army bonus, but you can't attack it from 3 fronts, so you must defend them all. I thought you'd have more guts. How disappointing. Ambition, Hee-chan. Your plays need to be more daring. Ambition! Ambition! I was really excited when you took South America, but then you switched to playing defensively just because you gained a small advantage. That's no good, Hee-chan. You didn't take enough risks, and that's the whole name of the game! Literally! And when you did, you didn't follow through. That's terrible, Hee-chan. Damn, what's it hurt if I played too carefully? There's no need to rub it in my face. Yeah. I wonder if you'd even be any good for the student council. Ah, new stratagem. What's this, reverse psychology? I guess I don't have to worry about joining or not in that case. Giving up just like that? I expected more of you. Seriously, is Shizune trying to taunt me into joining the council? Besides, I don't even want to join. It's only my second day. I can't make that kind of commitment. I haven't even taken a look at the other clubs yet. And these two, they're a little weird. Fine. I'll consider joining the council, but I want to take a look at the clubs before I decide. Really, Chan? You're not just saying that to make us feel better? Yeah, I'm just not sure that I want to. You know. I mean, it's gotta be something. Okay, Hee-chan, but we're not gonna give up so easily. You said maybe. There's still a chance he'll come around. Come on, we could really have fun. We could play more Risk, and maybe one day you could beat me unless we graduate before that. Doesn't make me feel any less reluctant about joining, you know. Surely you are not that horrible at board games. Maybe we can play a game you know then to give you a handicap. I might have said that just to make you feel better, after all. Oh, that's cold, Hee-chan. I take a glance at the clock on the wall and realize I've spent far longer playing Risk than I expected. Sorry, I think I have to go. I wanted to go to the library. It's not closed, is it? Shizune scratches her head and gestures at Micha. How can it be determined whether the library is open? There's a clock right there on the wall. It should be, unless the librarian is absent. I think you're right, Shi-chan. I think the library is open. It's on the 2nd floor. Can't miss it. You want us to show you where it is? No, thanks. It's okay. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Man, those two are an adventure. One flight up the stairs and I run into problems. The 2nd floor hallway is a carbon copy of the 3rd floor one. Wide, of course, and plain, like only hallways can be. Apparently we're shaming hallways now. The problem is that the library's whereabouts are not as easily determined as one would think. The classrooms are marked with signs stating which class they belong to, but then there's a plethora of other unmarked rooms. Much like how I had so much trouble finding my damn place in the Persona 3 school. Everything is the same. Is the library one of them? Or is that just somewhere down the hallway? I bet on the ladder and choose my direction at random. After I turn around the corner, an unmarked door draws my attention because it's not closed. It's not open either, though. Just barely ajar so that I can see it's open and nothing else. It's making a weird ringing noise as if I hadn't taken my keys out of the ignition. It makes sense for the library door to be invitingly open, and while this one is not quite that, it's good enough. At the very least, it means that someone is inside and I can ask for directions, no matter how embarrassing that is. I gingerly push open the center of the door with my fingertips, every muscle in my arm ready to pull back at a moment's notice to avoid any awkward situations, of which there would probably be untold quantities. The feeling of being an outsider to this school can't be shaken from my mind, so much that I instinctively fear doing something wrong by entering. The door slowly creaks as if groaning from a deep sleep, though it is much easier to open than I anticipated. Leaning over and poking my head ever further inside to gain sight of the room as fast as possible, the meek hello on my lips is quickly snatched away. Who goeth there? Egads, it be a blonde gal. Howdy. This is not what I was expecting. I mindlessly let the door open to its full extent, taking in the sight of the solitary figure taking center stage in the otherwise abandoned room. The situation steals my voice, leaving me standing at the doorway staring at the beautiful girl. Evidently, having taken her time to assess the situation, the girl gently puts down her teacup and opens her eyes, but doesn't look at me. Hello there, may I help you? Staring directly in front of myself, the movements of her lips seem to break the silence rather than the words. However, it's the soft, measured voice that reminds me she's being separate from the room itself. Not only is she likely the tallest girl I've ever laid eyes on, but even among the foreigners I've met, she's strikingly distinct. Hi, sorry for intruding, I was just kind of lost. She takes a moment to formulate a response before speaking. Every action she takes feels as if it's carefully choreographed beforehand. Care to take a seat? Unexpected, considering that I'm intruding upon her. Thanks. I slowly step towards another seat opposite her, the girl resting the teacup and saucer on the wooden table in between. The way she doesn't track any movements with her head is telling. That and the slight cloudiness to her eyes means she must be at least partially blind like Kenji. Oh! Did not anticipate that! Come to think of it, her voice doesn't have any detectable accent either. I guess she must be half Japanese. As I take my seat, her composure takes me slightly off guard. Her air of relaxed confidence makes the silence entirely comfortable. The calming atmosphere is so very different from the student council office. I take it you're a new student to Yamaku? Yeah, I just transferred in yesterday. I get the distinct feeling my speech patterns don't match the formality of hers, accentuated by her restraining bow of greeting. One which I hasten to match before realizing the futility of that action. I'm Lily Sato. Pleased to meet you. Hisao Nakai. She gives a nod before gesturing roughly in the direction of her teacup. Would you care for a drink? Sure. As much as it pains me, I can't keep step with her in formality in the proceedings. She's just too good. She gives a kind nod, taking the request in stride. Without another word, she steps off the chair and prepares a second cup of tea from a collection of supplies laid out along a shelf. A brush here, a brush there, her left hand often lightly touching the side of whichever container she's pouring into. Seems to be a process she's followed dozens of times before. As I lean sideways to see her around her back, she seems to use her long, dainty finger to measure the right amount of water in the cup. It's one thing to see the different abilities the students in my class have. It's quite another to see how everyone seems to adapt. Shizune and Misha have no problem working together to communicate to me, and Lily herself seems to have workarounds for problems I'd never thought of. While I feel slightly guilty about her doing the work, she seems pleased to follow the correct process of preparing the drink. So, her soft voice brings me out of my silent observance, or whatever. Which room were you looking for? It's not often this classroom is visited after school. The school library. Shizune and some classmates told me it was on this floor. She finishes pouring the water into the teacup as she nods, a small metallic tapping coming from the teacup, indicating it being stirred. I'm aware of Miss Hakamichi, as are most students. To be with them, that means you're in class 3-3, no? That's right, in the science room with Mudo. She gives a small giggle before setting down the teaspoon and slowly walking towards the table, teacup and saucer in hand. He's quite a character. I imagine you'll come to like him. Most do. Ooh. As she sets down the tea, I gently take it and have a sip. I'm really more of a coffee person, which means I have the rankest breath you've ever imagined in your entire life. But this seems like a rather bad moment to bring it up. Nonetheless, the smell's quite nice. I don't think it'd be hard to choke it down. Thanks, Sato. It tastes really nice. She smiles and quickly waves her hand in front of her face. Lily, please. There's no need to be too formal. She says this in spite of her exceedingly well-bred speech. Whatever. Oh well. I guess I should try and ask about herself, as it really does seem as if she's catering to me here. So, which class are you from? I imagine it's one of the third-year classes. Correct. I'm in class 3-2, which is on the third floor, same as yours. It's taught by Miyagi, and is specifically for both blind and partially blind students. That would make sense. They would need specific teachings. I see. Sorry. I feel like slapping myself for the faux pas, looking at her face, though. She doesn't seem in the least bit put off by it. My, there's no need to change your speech on my account. Sure. Sorry, I guess I'm really showing my newness here. An environment like this would be a big change, so I can't fault you for it. While the same can't be said for everyone, many have come to terms with their conditions. A category which would include her, it seems. All too ready to jump ship from this particular topic, I segue into another. Do you come here to drink tea often? It's a really nice place. Thinking on it, this might be her version of the place behind my school that I like to have lunch at. I come here fairly often during lunchtimes. My duties as class representative don't leave enough time for an official club, so a friend and I use this room for having tea. Class representative, huh? Compared to Shizune, her mannerisms seem to be almost completely opposite. While Shizune's blunt and fiercely driven, Lily seems relaxed and calm, almost aloof. Come to think of it, she might be useful for a less biased view of the school's clubs. What kind of clubs are there to join? The more popular ones are the track and field club, which use the field near the school during lunchtimes, the baseball club, and the book club in a room near the library. There are also numerous small ones too, though, such as the art and music clubs. At a time when I'm just wanting to get on my feet, rushing into a club right away seems slightly unappealing. wonder if the school shares the same rule as my old one. Is it compulsory to join a club? It isn't, though it is encouraged. Ah, good. That's a relief. I've really let down my guard around this girl to let such a thing slip out. The fact seems to slightly amuse her. Not wanting my tea to get cold, I finally start drinking it as Lily does the same. It was a pleasant time! As I look over to the window over her shoulder, I notice the light coming into the room has a distinct orange tint. Even here, time doesn't stand still. The time's gone quickly. Sorry? Right, she's blind. Of course she isn't. She can't see the sun setting. It just looks like the sun's starting to set. It seems to come as a surprise for her. I guess she must have lost track of time. Sorry, Hisao, I didn't mean to keep you from the library for so long. I quickly moved to allay her concern. Ah, no, it's okay. The library is still open, isn't it? She pauses and takes a moment to think on it. It's probably something I should have asked Shizune when I had the chance, but Lily seems likely to know in any case. True, it's open until 6:30 during weekdays. A quick glance at my watch confirms I have well enough time to get there. Nice! I might get going in that case. It's been nice talking with you, Lily. She smiles and gives a deep nod, her hand still neatly folded on the table in front of her. It was my pleasure. I'm going to turn the volume down slightly because this music got very loud. Oh, come to think of it, shall I show you to where the library is? I couldn't possibly ask for more help. I should be able to find it all right. Well, unless my navigational skills fail me, which they have in the past, let's not try to lie to ourselves here. Which they seem to have a habit of doing. There you go. It's all right. I was going to be talking to the librarian there in any case. I could introduce you. This gets better and better. It's pretty hard to deny her offer. If you're sure, then that'd be great. Thanks. As she stands up to follow me, she takes hold of a straight, retractable cane that had been slipped in the handle of her bag on the floor. Compared to the cane the boy in my class had, Lily's looks much thinner and longer. This must be for support, whereas Lily is for navigation. Together we leave the peaceful room and enter the empty hallway on the way to the library. Side by side, my pace carefully slowed to match hers as we slowly walk through the hallway. It doesn't take too long for us to arrive at the door to the warm-looking room, apparently situated in the center of the floor rather than either wing. Ladies first. She gives an appreciative smile as the gesture, taking the lead as we file in. To the left is the wooden library counter, with the library proper being on the right. It easily dwarfs my old school's library, with a distinct smell of old books giving the place an almost old-world air. Probably because the books are so damn old, they are from the old world! That's how books work! There don't seem to be a lot of students here. Considering the time, it isn't a big surprise. Everybody's probably either in their school grounds or the dorms. Yuko, are you here? She says it to the thin air since the librarian doesn't seem to be present, and of course, Lily can't see this. What's unexpected is that it draws a reaction. Something from under the counter thuds against it, followed by a quaint wail. Oh. The origin, apparently the librarian, quickly crawls out and bounces up to extremely rigid attention. Hi, Lily. How can I help you? Her voice is strained in a failing attempt to sound casual, and she's rubbing the back of her head. Good afternoon. What just happened now? I heard a strange sound. It's nothing. I just hit my head. So yeah, I dropped an eraser under my desk, and while I was looking for it, a pencil dropped, and when I was looking for both of them, you came and surprised me, and basically I'm a mess. I'm just a mess. Are you alright? I'm sorry, I couldn't know. It's okay. Sorry for making you worry. This is nothing. I've had worse happen to me. She's quick to reverse Lily's apologies, almost frantically trying to push aside the possibility that she could be in any way inconvenienced by bashing her head on the counter. Yes, worse things have happened before. The girl fidgets with her fingers as Lily doesn't seem to drop her concerned expression, and then she shuffles some papers around the counter for no reason. A little shorter than Lily, replete with glasses, freckles, and a very troubled look, she seems to fit a library perfectly. Ah, Lily, did you get my message? Message? Oh, the 2 important books that arrived. Right, they finally came. Can't believe it took so long, but amidst her celebrations, partially for managing to change the topic, I'm sure, she notices me from the corner of her eye and freezes on the spot when she does. No, I'm sorry for not noticing you before. Did you need to check out a book or return one? Oh, I'm sorry. The way she can so quickly shift between moods is a little unsettling. He's with me, Yuko. This is Hisao, a new student. Hisao, this is Yuko, the school librarian. Pleased to meet you. Hisao, right, Hisao. Pleased to meet you too, Hisao. For a second, she visibly attempts to engrave the name on her mind so she won't forget. Yuko often arranges to import foreign books in Braille for me. Would you like to tell Hisao a little something about the library? Lily's innocent suggestion is met with an expression of abject terror. Please, Lily, I can't. I don't know what he could be interested in. This is too much responsibility. How's it any responsibility at all? I don't get, but her objection is so sincere, I don't doubt for a second that she would rather disembowel herself on the spot than tell me where the light novels are. But, so, there are a lot of books in Braille here. I attempt to save the day by asking the first thing that pops into my head. Seems to work at least partially, as Yuko seems to, well, not exactly relax, but at least look slightly less tense. Well, I think about a third or a fourth of Yamaku's library is either in Braille or audio. Makes sense, given all the blind students that'd be here. If it's only that, how come this library is so big in the first place? Well, we get a lot of new books regularly, because the library is adequately endowed. That's probably why. They spend more on new books than on my salary, and then I have to organize and shelve all of them. It's so troublesome and they waste so much. I wish I could quit this job. Thanks for sharing that. A very awkward silence follows this revelation of too much information. Yeah. I'll go check the owls then, if you don't mind. It's probably best for all of us if she doesn't keep talking to me. Very well. Meanwhile, Yuko, I would have those books if it's all right with you. My first impression was right. This library is surprisingly big. Ambling down the narrow aisles, I study the spines of the book in random order, occasionally sliding one out to read the blurb, taking it with me if it looks good. In a few moments, I have a retractable stack of books, or spectable. It'd be weird if it was a retractable stack of books. I guess I'll never be stuck for choice in here. The normality of the library sinks in. Sure, there are large print and Braille books scattered throughout, but it is what it is. A librarium. It's as if the calm mood from the room I had tea with Lily and snuck with us here. Unless it was here to begin with. Something about that puts me at ease, just like before. I reach the end of the aisle and find a collection of desks set up for study or personal reading. Going a little further, though, I discover a nice quiet corner at the back. While the rest of the library has the odd student sitting at a desk either reading or stealthily sleeping, the back is pretty much deserted. As I glance around, I see someone who I recognize sitting on one of several bean bags. That is not what I thought that said. It's me, she! That's the dark-haired girl from class, the one who snuck out of the classroom earlier. She's reading a book, keeping it close to her face, which makes her look like she's really into it. From the way she was acting today, it pegged her as more of a delinquent than a bookworm. Wow, really, dude? Okay, I mean, I guess appearances can be deceiving and what have you, but, she definitely looks like the more ungodly shy type to hide behind books before she was a delinquent. I don't know where that came from. In fact, her mysterious disappearance from the class raises all sorts of whys in my head. Intrigue floats slowly but surely towards the surface. And before I know it, I'm walking toward the mysterious long-haired girl, which I can only imagine is going to be responded to, in kind, by horrifying fear. I guess there's no harm in introducing myself, as I would with anyone else. She's a classmate, after all. Walking over to another beanbag, I take a seat and lay my books beside it. The girl starts, looking scaredly up at me from underneath her fringe. That's the first time I've seen her this close. Underneath her long, dense bangs, I can see that part of her face, at least a third, if not a half, is pretty badly scarred. Okay, I mean, I don't feel like you needed to bring that up. My eyes are immediately drawn to the scars, subconsciously peeking past her hair until they meet her own eyes. For a second, I'm shocked and divert my eyes to the book in her hands, before I realize that looking away probably only makes it worse. It takes too many seconds to collect myself and remember why I walked up to her for. I feel like it would be a good call to apologize for the startling. Sorry, I didn't mean to startle you. It's okay. The girl certainly doesn't look like it's okay, but I let it slide. So, do you mind if I sit here? She seems to be very uncertain whether or not it's okay for me to sit, but finally she nods just a little. Okay. I take the seat next to her, and she hides behind her book. Life of Pi. Never heard of it. They made a movie about that. Isn't that the movie about the guy who was on a raft and he had a tiger? I think. Might have been something entirely different. All I know is there was definitely a movie like that I think had that name. So, sorry again for startling you. I'm Hisao. She looks up for her book, stalling a little before replying. I know. We're in the same class. Her speech is stilted and so quiet that it's barely audible even in the still library. Somehow I think my delinquent impression of her was wrong. Yeah, you thunk? Hanako. I'm Hanako. I resist the urge to say that's a nice name, just to have something to say, but really it's the only thing I can think of. I feel like an idiot. Everyone here must be used to being different to each other, and here I am being all bothered and fussed about this kind of thing. Don't let me interrupt your reading. I'll just check these books out if you don't mind. She nods a little and sighs a little sigh of relief. So I try to read the covers and the introductions to the books I picked up, and she buries her face in her book. Uncomfortable silence consumes us. My eyes still wander to her direction, and I sneak peeks at her flowing hair and the scars it's hiding. Yeah, that's okay. And she's like, why are you doing this? After a while, I realize she's doing the same and only pretending to be immersed in Life of Pi. Her gaze is not inquisitive at all, though. It darts around like a scared rabbit. When her gazes finally meet, the chain reaction is unstoppable. She stands up forcefully from the beanbag and takes a deep breath. I gotta go do something! Without warning, Hanako takes off and runs towards the counter. Her hair-like takeoff catches me so off guard that I don't manage to go after her until she has a good head start. By the time I reach the counter, she is nowhere to be seen. Lily and Yuko are happily chatting away. Knowing that I won't be able to catch Hanako myself, I approach the girls. Hey, did you notice a girl run past here? Maybe. What did she look like? Long, dark hair, kind of shy. She had, well, some scars on her face. You wouldn't be talking about Hanako, would you? Yeah, that's her. I saw her reading and tried to talk to her, but I think I scared her off or something. Oh dear. Yuko, would you excuse me? I'd better try and find her. Sure, I'll just hold on to these until you come back. What's going on? I'm sorry, but I'll have to explain it to you some other time. Right, I'll see you later then. Lily hastily grabs her cane and hurries out of the library, leaving me alone with Yuko. I don't think I'll ever get the hang of this place. Did I do something wrong? What did you do? Nothing. I was just looking for some books, and then she got this fit and ran off. The most offending thing I can think of was that I might have looked at her general direction a few times. Now, she is a very timid girl. You have to be very careful around her. She can be very jumpy, I think, and she's not accustomed to talking with other people. Isn't that a bit strange? I wonder. It's just how she is, I think. Hey, some people are meek. They ain't no thing. Yuko doesn't sound all that convincing. Then again, maybe this is just the norm around here. Everyone has their own problems, or else they wouldn't be here. But how should I deal with these people? Forcing myself to act overly casual only makes me feel phony. Like I was supposed to be ignoring the elephant in the room. Yuko fidgets, looking like she wants to say something to that, but resists it. I think it's an elephant only if you feel that way. I guess she doesn't have a good sense of self-restraint. Makes me smile, and she blushes heavily. What, did that sound stupid? Oh no, it sounded really wise. I guess you're right. It's more about me than anyone else. Yeah, it's only a big deal and something to think about, notice, and talk about if you make it one. If they want to bring it up, they're more than welcome to do so, but otherwise, I don't think it's necessary. Neither of us had anything to add, so Yuko fills the silence by shuffling some papers around. People who have papers on their desk really like doing that. Did you find any books? I should be closing soon. I mean, this library should be closing, but I have to do it. I hope that's not too inconvenient for you. Oh yeah, I want some books, but I left them over there because... I'll just go get them. I fetched my stack of books from besides the beanbag. Whoa! Hello, hiccups. From besides the beanbags where Hanako and I were sitting and returning to the counter. Wow, you read a lot, don't you? I surprised myself with that too, honestly. At least when I really think about it. I had a lot of free time earlier this year, so I just kind of started reading books to fill the time. Couldn't do much else. I see. But she doesn't say anything else and just checks out my book for me. I guess this is what they call tact. It is a strange foreign concept to me that I've never once truly properly understood. Funny that. Holding the library books with one arm, I trawl my pocket for the key to the door. A sudden sound from behind startles me, making me nearly drop the books I'm carrying, or the key that I almost managed to get into the lock. Who is it? I turn around to see who is talking to me. It's Kenji. He seems to be in a friendly mood, although the light glinting off his glasses in the dark gives him a sinister look. It's just me. Just makes him pause and lick his lips nervously. Who is me? I don't know anyone called me. Are you some new guy again? His voice is suddenly strained and quick. Yes, but we've met before, yesterday. I don't think so. I don't remember someone who I only met yesterday. When was that? What day is it today? I try to ignore him. Is he joking or what? Prove that we've met before. You live across the hall. You're Kenji. Kenji jumps back, his eyes filled with uncomprehending fear. How do you know my name? Damn, this can only mean one of two things. Either we have met and you're telling the truth and I just can't remember it, or you're a spy. He pauses. A psychic spy. His eyes dart around, trying to peek into my room, although it's hard to believe he can see anything through those thick glasses. His mood swung from friendly to manic in less than a minute. I'm not psychic. How do I know that? I'm not a mind reader. Kenji points a finger in my face damningly. Unlike you! Stop that, man. We met yesterday. What's wrong with you? I live in this room. Lies! If you think you could pass... Oh! That's okay, that's how you do that. Good enough. If you could pass this out because I'm legally blind, you are sorely mistaken. You don't even look like him. I mean, the resemblances are real slim. Maybe at a distance, but who do you think you're kidding? I want to grab him by the shoulders and shake him. Exasperated, I rub my eyes and let out a heavy sigh. Stay there. Kanji comes closer, one careful step at a time. I stay still, lest he assault me physically, although I doubt he could do much damage even if he did. Oh, wait, I see it now. Damn, it really is you. Sighing again, and then once again for good measure, I step backwards just in case. What's up, man? You don't look too good, I think. Something wrong? I don't know. Just had something stupid happen to me. A few stupid things, actually, even if you discount this one. And I can't get a proper touch on the other people here. And I have no idea if it's because of me or because of them. I don't know why I'm telling this to Kenji. It's not like we've had any contact either. That's rough, dude. Yeah, I'm sorry about calling you a psychic spy and all, but you can never be too careful. It's the hard reality we live in. I'm slowly starting to think that Kenji isn't necessarily living in the same reality as the rest of us. You see? This is how it is. This world. There's no justice, you see? Even when I lose, I win, because I don't lose the lesson. What does that even mean? It doesn't matter. He dismisses it flatly with a wave of his hand. So, what happened? Why the long face? Do you have a long face? Yeah, it's nothing. I just scared some girl off accidentally. Literally, too. She actually ran away from me. It was my fault, really, I think. I'm not really used to all this yet. A girl? A cute one? Cute? Well, that's a hard question. She had a nice body and a beautiful face, or beautiful hair, but the face. I'm not gonna touch that with a 50,000-foot pole. I guess everyone has internal thoughts that you don't want to have other people hear, but Jesus. I saw nothing wrong with her personally. Yeah, cute, I guess. I knew it! There are a lot of cute girls here. A strangely disproportionate amount. I believe this is one of the dark secrets of the school. No, that's just anime. I tried to warn you, man, but did you listen? I don't remember any such warning. Dark secrets? Yes, dark secrets. Extremely dark, like a black hole. Have you noticed that the number of girls in the school is slightly but significantly higher than the number of boys? It's like 60-40. He turns his head to the left and stares off into the distance at nothing. Why is it like this? I mean, to the untrained eye, it doesn't appear to be that bad, but that's a full 20%. One would think that a school with such a huge pool of women would be a man's dream, but no! What I'm about to tell you could blow your mind. Are you ready? I don't know where this is going, but I think I won't be missing much by cutting out now. No, I am not ready. I only get as far as turning the door now before Kenji starts talking again, showing that it doesn't really care if my mind is blown or not. I believe that this school is a battleground, the site of a feminist infiltration. This disparity in the number of men to women is a clear sign of how far they have come. In case this Cold War turns hot, they will have superiority in numbers. Just another skirmish in the eternal war against the forces of the feminists. Okay, suddenly I don't really like talking to this guy much. They're everywhere. In Japan, women outnumber men. It's not a 60-40 split, but it's only a matter of time, man. Even in America, women are the majority by a hair. They're building up their numbers. In the past, the buildup of a military has always been the clearest sign of imminent war. Japan is just the first step. Our economy is badass, and the country itself is small and isolated, yet a huge part of the Pacific in terms of political value. The perfect target. They're so cunning, as expected of women. Soon the day will come when... Kenji's voice trails off ominously. That's why you can't trust them. They'll string you along and then kill you, just as they killed me. You'll end up just like me. So you're dead now. Oh, hell no. I can't stop myself from blurting it out. Hey, what the hell does that mean? You said it, not me. It's the best I can think of. So? You're not supposed to say something like that? Damn, so rude. Yeah, you're next level bonkers in your brainscape. Where was I? Oh yeah, best feminist conspiracy. Stop it! Stop! Unless you way back there somewhere. Somewhere around feminist infiltration. Really, the second anybody says that exact sequence of words is immediately assigned to check out and just try to leave. Too hard to follow? It's cool. I have some graphs and stuff in my room. And puppets. You like puppets? No puppets. I don't like puppets. Okay, graphs are still cool though, right? He speaks energetically, responding almost before I'm done talking, moving his hands in an animated way as he continues to rant on. This is too strange. Getting pegged is relatively normal, but it's clear that I was wrong. Something on your mind, dude? Just thinking about what it's like to be the last sane man in an insane world. Kenji frowns, looking deeply upset. You mean that's you? That can't be, because I'm the last sane man in an insane world. This is my dream. You can't steal a man's dream. What the hell? There can't be two last sane men. It would invalidate the whole last part. And that part's kind of important. There can only be one, like in that foreign movie where there could only be one, and in the end there's only one dude left, because that was the point. I don't know if he's just talking like a crazy person or if he actually means the Highlander. I have never seen anyone talk so heatedly and so defensively about absolutely nothing before. Sadly, I have, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, if you wait here, I can get my graphs. I also have a list of the other dark and complex conspiracies that the school holds, as tangled as... Quick, finish my analogy for me, be a pal. I'm going to bed now. It's extremely late. That doesn't sound like an analogy, but whatever. I like you. You seem like a cool dude. Most people don't understand what I'm talking about when I try to explain the vast feminist conspiracy to them. Hell is a terrible thing. Later. He claps me on the back and then vanishes into his room so quickly and quietly, it's like he didn't even open the door, but instead walked right through it like a ghost. That's a plot twist that I'm more than ready for. I don't know if I can fully digest what just happened, so I give up and just go to my room, kicking off my shoes before falling face first into my bed. It takes me some time to relax and get up so I can get started on homework. It's because the sheets are cool and comforting against my cheek, and it feels good just lying there with my eyes closed. The school is like some kind of bizarre and surreal island. It's isolated on top of a mountain, and each person is stranger than the last. Lily didn't seem strange. Honestly, I don't think Shizune or Misha were that odd either. Homeroom teacher and the nurse seemed perfectly normal, too. If I'm being entirely honest with you, I think the only weirdo we've seen is Kenji. Everyone else seems pretty normal. I just can't seem to fit in. What irony. One would think that fitting in a place that's made for people who are unfit for anywhere else would be easy. Maybe I'm trying too hard. Although I say that, it doesn't help take the edge off, and the words are left echoing off my empty walls. I guess it's not as bad as I expected, though. This place really is more a school, and less hospital pretending it's a school than I thought it would be. If nothing else, the scenery is beautiful. I open one eye, seeing the school books and bottles of pills arranged side by side on my desktop. Maybe this place is too much like a normal school after all. Hard to say! We're just gonna keep on doing our best, I guess. Oh boy. I feel very tired this morning. Probably because yesterday itself was a very tiring day. On top of that, I woke up far earlier than necessary. Yeah, welcome to my world. I get like 4 hours of sleep a night. After saying hi to Shizune and Misha, I start doing the work as instructed from the board, or it looks like today is going to be heavy. Dense. I don't have a problem with that now, though. Shizune and Misha might jump on me trying to get an answer about whether or not I've decided to join the student council, even if it's just one day. I wouldn't put it past them to try, and I don't have an answer for them if they do, so this situation is convenient for me. About 10 minutes into class, Hanako walks in and takes a seat, but no one looks at her. The teacher doesn't even comment on her lateness. Or his lateness. What? He does, however, stop us to say that we're going to break into groups again. This is a very bizarrely common thing, I can't help but notice. I turn my head and see that Shizune and Misha are looking at me. Shizune gives me a smile that's equal parts cute and menacing. This is a smile that says, "We have you now. There is no escape." Hee-chan! Looks like we're working together again. Yay, yay! Misha leans sideways while Shizune pushes her desk closer to mine. There really is no escape now unless I were to jump through the window. A tempting prospect, perhaps. Weighing my options. Jumping out the window isn't the best option, sadly, but it is an option! What's wrong, Hee-chan? Oh, Hee-chan, have you been thinking about what you said yesterday? You said that you would think about joining the student council, didn't you? It's okay, Hee-chan. We were talking about it after you left, and it would be rude to expect you to already have an answer for us this early, right? Right. Ha 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 ha! I'm so happy you two are able to have a laugh at my expense, and even more pleased to know that you both know how crazy the two of you can be. Self-awareness is such a rare trait these days for people. Now that that's over, Shizune steps back into serious mode and smacks today's assignment with the back of her hand in an overly dramatic and important way. When I actually look at the stuff, it's mostly just reading. In fact, there are only two problems. I almost want to say something about how her rush to get started seems a bit much, considering the small amount of work. In fact, Shizune probably knows how little there is and simply doesn't care. Yeah, it seems like the workload doesn't matter to her as much as the fact that there is work. The actual amount is unimportant. She approaches everything with the same level of ambition. Hi, Hanako. While I'm reading, I let my eyes wander around the room and catch Hanako trying her hand at solving the problems. Looks like she's working alone. Can't remember seeing her working with other people before. Thinking back to how shy she is, yeah, kinda tracks. Hey, that girl over there. Huh? Who, Ichan? Her, Hanako, over there. Does she always work alone? I think so. Ichan, do you feel sorry for her because she's alone? I was just thinking that maybe she could work with us or something. No, I don't think that would be a good idea, Ichan. Why not? Ichan wouldn't get along with her. Why? Misha shuffles around the question, letting out a laugh that sounds very strange. It's nervous, but still has that lighting up and down quality present in everything she says. Just because, Ichan. By now, Shizune has noticed our conversation, and it makes me realize, again, how Misha has been signing everything she has been saying this whole time. She is angry. What, Chichan? That friend of my enemy is my enemy? That sounds so harsh. I'm not gonna say that. Okay, so she is the friend of your enemy? Is that Lily? You said it anyway. I know, Ichan. It's fine if you overhear. I wonder if this is Misha's way of keeping things fair, since without her, I wouldn't be able to understand a thing Shizune says is saying, and vice versa. Is that also why she signs all the time? So there's never a conversation Shizune will be left out of? Anyway, we should start with the problems now, Hichan. And then I guess we did. We finished with time to spare, and I just had to ask her if there are any alternatives to the cafeteria, as frankly, the food so far has been subpar. This sent Shizune and Misha arguing over amongst themselves about their favorite restaurants. All of them are downtown, so I don't think we have time to go all the way there. And what about the bill? Are they arguing just for the fun of it? Maybe. They seem so distracted by it that they don't even notice the start of the actual lunch break. I look over my shoulder towards the back of the classroom. She seems to be studying her notes from the previous class. It's an odd sight. Everyone else in the class is busying themselves with the lunch break. Socializing, gossiping, rearranging desks. The ones with actual boxed lunches mixed in, chattering like everyone else, only interrupted by short bouts of eating. But when I watch Hanako, it feels like I'm the only one who could see her. Almost if she was invisible, sort of hiding in plain sight. Is she being bullied? Is she isolating herself from the rest of the class on her own accord? I see her look over her shoulder towards the classroom's rear door. Come to think of it, she hasn't turned a page since I started watching her. I guess she's waiting for someone. What to do? I personally feel as if all that going up to her would accomplish is freaking her out, possibly getting her to run away, and maybe making it hard for whoever is going to apparently be meeting with her to meet her. I'll leave her be. I do what I always do when I don't know what to do, like now. I've already started on one of the books I borrowed yesterday and took it with me to school to fill the empty moments between classes. I find the page that I creased a corner off to mark the spot I left yesterday night and pick up from there. Yeah, you might want to invest in a bookmark. Misha and Shizune are still arguing heatedly, probably about restaurants still. If I joined them, I'd just get caught up on that, or worse, get grilled about joining the student council. Misha isn't speaking aloud since there's nobody who'd need to hear what they are talking about. But why does she tend to sign things even when Shizune doesn't need to understand what's being said? Or even more strangely, when Shizune is not around at all. What an odd conflict of habits. I find it hard to focus on the book. And besides, the lunch break beckons me to leave the dullness of the classroom. I do so, heading down for the cafeteria. Misha and Shizune, having come to a conclusion of one kind or another, follow in my wake, though still talking in their animated fashion. It's what they do. Just around the corner of the hallway, something hits me in the chest with the force of a runaway train. Ow! Opening my eyes, I see a pair of saucer-like green eyes looking up at me. Hi. Oh! Hi! They belong to the perpetrator, a short girl who bumped into me and has now fallen down onto the hallway floor. Are you okay? She wears a PE uniform and a very worried frown. The former strikes me as a rather strange thing to have on during a lunch break. More striking than that, though, is that she doesn't have legs. This guy's got no tact. I know he's inside his own brain, but geez, man. Or she does, but they're not flesh and bone. Her pale and very much flesh and bone thighs end in shins and feet made of some black metallic or plastic-like material. They look disturbingly artificial and unnatural. Almost makes me forget that my chest is hurting. Yeah, because staring and judging is totally a thing that everyone should do. The girl winces a little, rubs her nose, and jumps up. Oh, man. Hey, are you all right? I'm sorry about that, really. I wasn't looking where I was going, and you just came out of nowhere. Sorry. I appreciate the name Twin Tails Girl. She's looking really apologetic, in the hurt puppy way of looking apologetic. I quickly forget about being angry or anything, since hurt puppies are my weak spot. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Oh, that's not good. I say that, but there's a stinging pain growing in my chest. Oh, God, concussions of the chest. And I know this is about the biggest possible danger for my condition. Don't overexert yourself. Don't forget your medication. And most of all, don't get hit in the chest. I try to rub my solar plexus to chase the pain away, holding my breath in an attempt to hear my heartbeat. Okay, keep it level. Keep it steady. It seems normal. Hey, should I get a nurse? The worried, high-pitched voice of the girl snaps me out of it. I stare at her for a few seconds dumbfounded until I realized that I probably looked worse off than I really was. Doubled over myself and looking all tense. Damn, I overly worried my heart. No need. I'm fine. Managing to say something in response, I pull myself upright, feeling my sore ribs one last time, and take a deep breath. She just knocked the wind out of me, big time. But it's nothing more than that. Sure you're okay? It hits you pretty hard. It's okay. I said I was fine and nothing's broken. No harm done. That's good. I feel a hand on my shoulder at the same time the girl's eyes widen in horror. Oh, I guess I don't get to read the rest of that. Eep! Whoa. I don't have time to look behind me because Shizun is already shoving me aside and stomping over to the girl, signing furiously at her. Miss Ibarazaki, I saw that. Running the halls is strictly forbidden. Misha translates right on Shizun's tail, but her voice is girlishly playful, not full of the divine fury Shizun's arm movements would seem to call for. Sorry, I was just gonna get some stuff, and I was kinda in a hurry. You've been told this 1,000 times before. Your reckless behavior endangers other students, and even worse, it's explicitly against the school regulations. The girl blushes and starts to fidget nervously like a little child caught misbehaving. It's so cute, I find myself smiling. Look, I wasn't gonna say it. I know that. It was just that. Make sure that this will not happen again. Although I'm sure telling you this is futile and only causes me further headache, and when you choose to ignore the regulations. Got that, Amy? The small girl sticks her tongue out in response. I gotta go. Teacher will have my head. I promised to help with printouts, but I went running instead. Sorry, but I gotta change and everything. Before Misha or Shizun or I can say anything, she's already bolted from where she was a second ago, almost halfway through the stairwell. Don't let me catch you running in the halls again, bolts. Shizun looks like she's about to go nuclear on the spot, so I smile at her in a vain attempt to calm her down. She seemed nice. You okay, Hichan? That Ibarazaki girl is always like that, causing trouble to others. You know, I'm pretty sure Shizun wouldn't call me Hichan. Never mind. Anyway, I'm okay. Just got the wind knocked out of me. That's great, Hichan. I wouldn't call that great, but I let it slide this one time. I don't think anybody is actually aware of what our condition is, so... I mean, if we're going to try and establish some kind of bond of any sort, it might be a good idea to let them know that strenuous activities and also concussive damage to the chest is real bad. We have to run now. There's an important student council meeting regarding the festival, and we finally decided where to eat. Too bad you can't join, but this lunch meeting is only for council meetings. Members, whatever. It's the same thing, basically. We could take you there some other time. Oh, but that'd be like a date, wouldn't it? Wahaha! The girls leave for downstairs. I didn't manage to get far from the third-floor hallway before all the commotion struck. Literally, I should get going as well. And then I left.